All right, let's start. Let's pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, to the worthy one, the blessed one, to the fully enlightened Samma Sambuddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So today I like to discuss the number 223 of the Dhammapada, and in Pali it goes as Akko dhena jine kodhang asadhung sadhuna jine jine kadariyang danena satchena alikavadina. So the meaning goes as conquer the angry one by not getting angry. That means through loving kindness. Conquer the wicked by goodness. Those who do asadhu. Asadhu is anything that is not appropriate. Sadhu is a very popular term in India. Sometimes for monks they call us sadhu, someone who is a monk. It comes from, I think, the culture that we do. I think the belief is that we all do good things, so we are sadhus. And that people put palms together and they say sadhu to monks. And that is also why sometimes, they are, when we were small, our parents used to say, they are a monk, say sadhu. So then we become sadhu with that also. But here, asadhum, something that is not sadhu, something that is not good, can be conquered by sadhuna, something that is good. Jine kadariyang danena. So kadariyang here is stinginess. Conquer the stingy by generosity. Sachena alikavadina. Conquer the liar by speaking the truth. And then I like to combine this with another Pali verse that goes as Mitabhanimpi nindanti amitabhaninam. I think I need to find the Mitabhanimpi, so that I will remember it. Yeah. It goes with actually combined with several other verses. Purana metang atula netang ajyatanamiva nindanti tunhi masinang nindanti bahubhaninang mitabhanimpi nindanti natti loke anindito न चाहो न च भविष्यति न चेतरहि विज्जति एकान्तं निन्दितो पोसो एकान्तं व पसंसितो यञ्चे विඤ्ඤुपसंसन्ति अनुविच्च सुवे सुवे अच्छिद्ध उत्तिं मेधाविं पඤ्ඤासील समाहितं निक्खं जम्बोदनस्येव कोतं निन्दितुमर्हति Devopinang pasansanti brahmunapi pasansito. This verse is all about not fearing criticism. The part that I try to bring up in my mind is the most famous part about it. Buddha says, Uh, they blame one who is silent. Nindanti tunhi bhavina. Whether you are, they blame one who speaks much. They blame one who speaks little. There is no one in this world who is not blamed. So recently, when we were in Dhammasukha, out there for meditation for 10 days, we had a Dharma teacher who is not an ordained monk. And his teachings are amazing. And sometimes he said he gets criticism by lay people, and because he teaches Buddha's teachings without being ordained as a monk. Then I told him this part of the Buddha's teaching. You know, people blame those who are silent. People blame those who speak much. They blame one who speaks little. There is no one in this world who is not blamed, including the Buddha. The Buddha was blamed for various things, and then but he did not stop his teachings until he saw disciples from, all four groups, and that means monks, nuns, female lay disciples, and male lay disciples become expert in Dhamma and begin teaching. The Buddha said he won't stop his mission. At one point, the evil one, Mara, came to the Buddha and said, you should pass away. Enough of your being in this world. At that point also, the Buddha said, I'm not going to pass away until I see all these four groups learn and master the teachings, and they begin teaching. And these verses were spoken on such instances. But there's so much in here. I will read the whole meaning of Dhammapada verses 227, 228, and 229. So this is spoken to a person named Atula, nice Buddhist name. Atula means balanced or comparable, but Atula means incomparable, someone who had qualities that you cannot compare to anyone. Says, it is not new, Atula. It has always been done from ancient times. So this is a practice from ancient times that people blame others. They blame one who is silent. They blame one who speaks much. They blame one who speaks little. There is no one in this world who is not blamed. And then the next verse says, there never has been, there never will be, nor is there now anyone who is always blamed or always praised. Do you see anyone who is always praised? Always blamed? There is something good about these people also. So people cannot always blame. If the wise praise him day after day, knowing him to be truly faultless, wise, and endowed with knowledge and virtue, who would blame him? Who is like a nikkha, or of pure gold. The devas praise him. He is praised even by the great Brahmas. We need to place Buddha's teachings, these instructions, into a Brahmanic society, that they worshipped the great Brahma, the highest God. And in this teaching, the Buddha is sort of telling that the divine beings, devas, praise these good doers, and he is praised even by the great Brahmas. those that are in the highest celestial abodes, also observe the person who does good deeds, just like a little bit of gold that shines. And in other words, your creator, devas, because at the time people believed that the great Brahma created all the human beings, all the animals. And even your creator devas are also praising any human being who does good deeds. And this is an encouragement by the Buddha to keep up the good work, like we say here, keep up the good work, continue doing what you have been doing. It seems to serve you right. It seems to serve others in a nice way. And let me go to this lay disciple story. This is about Atula. Once Atula and his companions, numbering 500, wishing to listen to the words of the Dhamma, went to Venerable Revata. And he, however, was aloof like a lion. He did not say anything to them. They were very much dissatisfied, and so they went to Venerable Sariputta. When Venerable Sariputta learned why they had come, he expounded exhaustively on the Abhidhamma. You know what Abhidhamma means? Deep teachings. So the first monk didn't say anything. He just stood there aloof like a lion. And the other monk, Venerable Sariputta, said so much, and that too was from Abhidhamma, from profound teachings. Abhi means profound, Dhamma means teachings, profound teachings. So he was also not their liking, and they grumbled that Venerable Sariputta had been too stingy and too profound. No, too lengthy and too profound. Sorry. Next, Atula and his party approached Venerable Anand. Venerable Anand expounded to them the bare essentials of the Dhamma. This time they remarked that Venerable Ananda had been too brief and too sketchy. Finally, they came to the Buddha and said to him, Venerable Sir, we have come to listen to your teaching. We have been to the other teachers before we come here, but we are not satisfied with any of them. Venerable Revata did not bother to teach us, and so he just kept silent. Venerable Sariputta was too exhaustive, and the teachings he taught us was too difficult. And for Venerable Ananda, he was too brief and too sketchy. We do not like any of their discourses. And then the Buddha said, my disciples, blaming others is not something new. There is no one in this world who is never blamed. People who blame even a king or even a Buddha. To be blamed or to be praised by a fool is of no consequences. One is truly blamed only when he is blamed by a wise man, and truly praised only when praised by a wise man. This is telling something important. If a wise man blames you, then that is for your good. If a wise man praises you, that is also not fake. That is true praise. And that we can count on, that we can accept. Other times, I think the Buddha is saying that just ignore. Because in another instance, the Buddha says, Nidinang pavatarang yampase vajjadasena niggaihavading medaving tadisang panditam bhaje tadisang bhajamanasya seyo hoti na papiyo. In that, the Buddha says, when a wise person, nidhinang pavatarang, just as that wise person is showing a buried treasury and he's unearthing it for you. Yang passe vajja dasina, someone who is seeing any fault in you. Niggaihavading medhaving, someone who's wise but who also has the courage to say that you have this fault. Tadisam panditam bhaje, associate that kind of wise person. Be with that kind of wise person. Tadisam bhajamanasa, to someone who is living with that kind of a person, Sayyo hoti na papyo. There's only good things will happen, no evil. Because they don't hide, they don't cover your faults. They are not partners in crime, in other words. Right? That they just don't prove everything that you want to do. They'll say this will lead to your own, this will have bad consequences. And that kind of person you can really trust because they truly see your own goodness and that they want to protect you from any harm. This will be harmful to you, this will be harmful to others. That kind of a wise person. And here the Buddha knows that Venerable Revata, Sariputta, Ananda, they have given wonderful teachings in other times. But somehow these people, maybe they went with the mind, habitual mind to blame, habitual mind to find faults. And that got in the way, that they didn't like silence, they didn't like exhaustive teachings, they didn't like just bare essentials. And I'm sure the Buddha noticed that even when the Buddha gave a teaching, that they will anyway blame the Buddha, no matter how good his teachings were. And the Buddha has received so much criticism from many teachers, many people who lived at the time of the Buddha for many reasons. So it's not new. When someone blames us, someone complains about us to others, to yourself, you remember this, it's an ancient practice. No one is free from blame. No one is forever praised. No one is forever blamed. Only if a wise person blames you. Only if a wise person tells you that, this is something that you can think about. Then you know that is not blame. That is something that you can really pay attention to and correct your behavior or actions or anything that is that needs to be corrected. So combined with that, I was sharing the conquer the angry one by not getting angry, conquer the wicked by goodness, conquer the stingy by generosity, and the liar by speaking the truth. So these are some 4 people that we may meet in life. When someone shows anger, we stay silent and we speak nothing. When someone is doing unwholesome things, we do the wholesome. And when someone is stingy, we practice our dana parami, perfection of generosity. And when someone is not speaking the truth, we conquer them by speaking the truth. It does not say that we have to get angry while speaking the truth. We just speak the truth. And that doesn't have to have any anger in us. So this also has a story. Since we have a little time, I will bring up that story too. This is about a lay disciple named Uttara. While residing at the Veluvana monastery, the Buddha uttered this verse with reference to Uttara actually, a female lay disciple. Uttara was the daughter of a farm laborer named Punna and his wife. Punna worked for a rich man named Sumana in Rajagaha city. One day, Punna and his wife offered alms food to Venerable Sariputta soon after his arising from sustained deep mental absorption called Nirodha Samapatti. And as a result of that good deed, they suddenly became very rich. Punna came upon gold in the field he was plowing, and the king officially declared him a royal banker. On one occasion, the family of Punna offered alms food to the Buddha and the bhikkhus for 7 days. And on the seventh day, after hearing the Buddha's discourse, all the three members of the family attained Sotapanna fruition. Sotapanna is one of the stages, the first stage of the entry to the path. Sota is the stream, Apanna is entering the stream. If we take the whole cycle of the wheel of samsara as a flood, now you have entered uh, the flood, but you are swimming against the current. It's easy to get carried away with, any of the defilements that come our way, whether it is ignorance, sensual pleasures, uh, views, misunderstandings, and also liking to exist in some form of existence, whether in a human form, a divine form, some kind of choice that is made out of our actions. So Sotapanna is someone who is breaking that cycle and going against the current. Sota is the stream, Apanna is entering the stream. So they are called stream enterers. And Boston had a society called Against the Stream. Do you remember that? I've heard that they have a group called Against the Stream. Maybe we should Google about them. But anyone who is a stream enterer or someone who has attained the fruition of that will never say that they have achieved it. Why? Because one thing they let go of is the self view that I am this, I am that, or I am my eye, I am my ear, I am my eye consciousness. Because you see the transient nature of this. And knowing and seeing thus, it's impossible for a wise person to say that I am anything. And another thing that they let go of is uh, doubt. They themselves have seen the Dhamma in their own wisdom eye, and therefore many doubts have been eradicated in their minds. They have confidence in this path, in these teachings. And that the third one that they have, these are called fetters. The third one they have let go of is Silabbata Paramasa, wrong practices. Now, at the time of the Buddha, there were many teachers who gave different kinds of teachings. Some standing on on one foot, thinking that this will bring them so much suffering, and they will endure all that suffering, and that will free them from all the sufferings. Can be pleasant for 1-2 hours standing on one foot, but after that it can get very, very painful. And this the Buddha discouraged. He said, this will not lead you to any peace, any awakening, because it does not involve any mental purification. So some others slept on some spiked bed, a mattress uh, that has spikes, thorns. It can be very painful to a human body to sleep like that. There were many practices, many misunderstandings. So you let go of all that and you realize what you need to do is cultivating virtues, cultivating your mental concentration, stillness of mind, and prajna, cultivating wisdom. So sila cultivation, samadhi cultivation, and wisdom cultivation. So now let's go back to Uttara's story. Later, Uttara, the daughter of Punna, married the son of the rich man Sumana. That family being non-Buddhist, Uttara did not feel happy in her husband's home. So she told her father, "My father, why have you put me in this cage? Here I do not see any monks, and I have no chance to offer anything to any monk." Her father felt sorry for her and sent her 15,000 in cash. With this money, assume this is 15,000 US dollars. So much money. With this money, after getting permission from her husband, Uttara engaged a courtesan to look to the needs of her husband. So it was arranged that Sirima, a well-known and very beautiful courtesan, was to take her place as a wife for 15 days. Oh, during that time, Uttara offered alms food to the monks and Buddha and monks. On the 15th day, as she was busy preparing food in the kitchen, her husband saw her from the bedroom window and smiled, and then muttered to himself, "How foolish she is! She does not know how to enjoy herself. She is tiring herself out with this alms-giving ceremony." Sirima saw him smile, and forgetting that she was only a paid substitute wife, felt very jealous of Uttara. Being unable to control herself, Sirima went into the kitchen and got a ladle full of boiling butter with the intention of pouring it over the head of Uttara. Uttara saw her coming, but she bore no ill will toward Sirima. She reflected that because Sirima had stood in for her, she had been able to listen to the Dhamma, make offerings of alms food for 15 days, and perform other acts of charity. Thus, she was quite thankful to Sirima. Suddenly, she realized that Sirima had come very close to her and was going to pour boiling hot butter over her. So she made this assertion: "If I bear any ill will towards Sirima, may this boiling hot butter burn me. If I have no ill will towards her, may it not burn me." As Uttara had no ill will towards Sirima, the boiling butter poured over her head by Sirima was just like cold water. Then Sirima thought the butter must have gone cold, and as she went for another ladle full of boiling butter, the attendant of Uttara fell upon her and beat her hard. Uttara stopped her attendants and instructed them to rub Sirima with medicinal ointment. Then Sirima remembered her true position, and she regretted that she had done wrong to Uttara and asked Uttara to forgive her. Then Uttara replied, "I have my father. I shall ask him whether I should accept your apology." Sirima then said that she would readily go and apologize to the rich man, the father of Uttara. Uttara then explained to Sirima, "Sirima, when I said my father, I did not mean my real father, who had brought me into this round of rebirth. I was referring to my father, the Buddha, who had helped me break the chain of rebirths, who had taught me the Dhamma, the noble truths." Sirima then expressed her wish to see the Buddha. So it was arranged that Sirima should offer alms food to the Buddha and the monks on the following day at the house of Uttara. After that meal, the Buddha was told everything that had happened between Sirima and Uttara. Sirima then owned up that she had done wrong to Uttara and entreated the Buddha that she should be forgiven, for otherwise Uttara would not forgive her. The Buddha then asked Uttara how she felt in her mind when Sirima poured boiling butter on her head. And Uttara answered, Venerable Sir, because I owned so much to Sirima, I had resolved not to lose my temper, not to bear any ill will towards her. I sent forth my love towards her. Then, at that point, the Buddha said, well, Uttara. By not bearing any ill will, you have been able to conquer one who has done you wrong through hate. By not abusing, you should conquer one who abuses you. By being generous, you should conquer one who is stingy. By speaking the truth, you should conquer one who tells lies. So that was, on that occasion, the Buddha gave that teaching. So combined with, being blamed when you are silent, being blamed when you speak little, being blamed when you speak so much. We can think about how we are not excluded from praise and blame, and how in return we can practice these four things by not getting angry, by doing good, by being generous, and by speaking the truth. So that is for this weekend. Let us now meditate. Any questions? Any? You can ask.
I love the stories thing. Which ones.
It's easy for us to understand some teachings when there's a story.
Yeah.
I love these stories.
Is there a danger of if we take some of these stories too literally? Like I love the stories and I love like what they illustrate, but I think, like for example, you could, if somebody was coming with a ladle of like boiling hot oil towards you, probably the best thing to do would be to, like run away.
Right.
Like not sit there and be like,
Yeah.
If I'm pure enough, this oil won't burn me. Or, another example, if you're, say a wife and your husband abuses you and you say to yourself, if I'm just good enough, like my husband's abuse can't touch my heart, or, I can change him or something like that.
I think the second thing, the question is, how literally can we take these stories? And that's a very good question. When someone is coming toward you to do some harm, uh, unless you are so special in your mind, it's impossible for that person to stay still and not run away. That uh, we tend to react when we see the danger. But it seems like Uttara must have seen this coming through her, maybe cultivation of mind, or maybe she heard that, this Sirima, someone you should be concerned about. So she could maybe see the danger before that came. But not everyone is able to do that. So it's best we have some self-defense. Nowadays they have weapons that are very dangerous. We probably should protect ourselves from this. I wouldn't. I mean, unless we are in that position, if a wife is blamed, if a wife says that, I have done so much good, but it's a good attitude, like very good understanding that you have in mind that I have done good, and therefore may I not be touched by this. these words, and that's doable though. I have done so much good, and may I not be touched by these words. And that is a good wish, and that is possible, and that alone is a miracle right here in our mind. That no matter how bad someone treats you, may it not touch my mind. It's practically doable, and by doing that, you are doing so much great uh, benefit to your own well-being instead of resorting to anger and continuing to return that anger to them, which is the easy thing, and people have done it, retaliated, and never succeeded. Like whenever Buri Panyo said the other day, you know, based on the teachings of the Buddha, of course, that hatred is never appeased by hatred. That too is an ancient teaching, eternal law, Sanatana Dhamma, eternal teaching, said the Buddha. Yeah, you're welcome. Any more questions? No? Okay, time to meditate. You may make a nest of yourself, feeling comfortable within your own body and posture. Being very gentle and kind to yourself, you let go of any tension, any tightness in your mind, in your body. You may take a deep breath in and breathe out. Notice your shoulders as you breathe in and breathe out, seeing the rhythm of it. Now that your body is a straight line connecting your neck, spine, and the lower body, you may do a quick scanning of your body. As I say, these different parts of your body. Release and relax intentionally any tension, any tightness in these parts of your body, especially your eyes. Release and relax. Gently closed and no pressure there. Allow them to be. And you may also radiate loving kindness to your eyes. May my eyesight be good. May I never lose my eyesight. May I be able to look after my eyes very well, and the back of your head. Many changes the skin has gone through. So the skin of your body, all over your body, skin of your face, keeping a gentle smile on your face, coming down to your heart, noticing any heart palpitations, any anxiety, anything that is boiling that needs to cool down, allowing those things to be, knowing that this too shall pass. So with that wisdom, you breathe in and breathe out. May wisdom guide me to disown these feelings, to see through the wisdom eye that any feeling is transient, that they vanish after arising, they are not to be owned. Seeing through the wisdom eye that there is cessation of feeling every moment. Now breathe in and out. Notice the back of your body. Like a chiropractor adjusting little parts here and there. You adjust, make it asymmetrical, and that is one form of loving kindness. Looking after our own home, this body that has been with us all these years, taking us to places, keeping us healthy and well fed, bearing illnesses. Many things that this body has endured. It's like having a healthy relationship with someone that there's no need to block anything, no need to block phone numbers. with the same body. There's no need to block anything. It has always served us as best as if it could. Notice the lower body, muscles, sitting bones, knees, shin bones, ankles, the soles of your feet, your toes, just like a tree shedding old leaves. We will abandon the past, we will abandon the future, and stay present here and now, reflecting on this Buddha's teaching. Pabhasaramidang bhikkhave cittang tancako agantuke hyupakkilitte hyupakkilitthang. Monks, this mind is luminous. It is impaired by visiting defilements. This mind is luminous by nature, by default. Let us now focus on what makes this mind luminous again, to bring up that luminosity in your mind and make it shine brighter. No kodha, no anger, and resort into akkodha, not having kodha, not having boiling nature in it. Allowing it to calm down through loving kindness. Like a mother keeping a child for nearly 10 months in the womb, caring and continuing to care even after, when the baby is out, delivered. Seeing the little sparkling nature, twinkling stars within this mind, the dwindling pure brightness, the sun, moon, the stars, planets, the mind-made nature of this mind. May this body be well and happy. May this body become a vessel of kindness, vessel of compassion, a vessel of joy and equanimity. Let us radiate compassion with that soft heart, thinking about all the sick people who are going through an illness, including our own friends and family, those who endure radiation, loss of hair, how isolated they feel, the uncertainty they live with, those who suffer from Lyme disease or blood issues and various kinds of illnesses. You cannot always cure, but you can always care. Let us fill this mind with compassion, making it more luminous and radiating it in all six directions at once, above, below, and across. May all beings be at ease. May the suffering ones be suffering free. Fear struck, fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief. May all beings be at ease. Let us now focus on joy, the joy that you had this time to cultivate mindfulness, listen to the teachings this weekend. How quickly that this joy can disappear, but at the same time, you radiate joy, taking this as an opportunity to see joy within and that way see joy outside. This blissful, wonderful, calm gladdening sense, feeling that is nourishing your inner being and luminosity becomes a radiance, and you start radiating that above, below, and across, everywhere, wherever it is needed. May all beings be touched by my joy, little by little, moment to moment. May all beings be touched by my joy, my intention to share my joy with all sentient beings. All sentient beings everywhere start receiving your joy and feeling uplifted. This joy leads to infinite consciousness, said the Buddha. Infinite number of conscious moments can be seen and experienced through the mind as you cultivate, radiate joy with the 7 factors of awakening. Joyful mindfulness, joyful investigation, joyful effort, joyful joy, gladness, joyful tranquility, joyful collectedness, equanimity touched by your joy. When a sublime state, such as joy, is touched by the 7 factors of awakening, your radiance, luminosity increases. The mind becomes so divine. When the joy fades away, what is there is equanimity supported by wisdom and 7 factors of awakening. And now you begin filling your mind with equanimity, just like a light bulb, increasing its brightness. You shine brighter and brighter, like a star, like the light around you, the sunlight, radiating this luminosity, equanimity across the universe. Radiating all sublime states, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, all at once, to all beings. Let's share some merits. May the suffering ones be suffering free, fear struck, fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, may all beings be at ease. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect us and protect the teachings of the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Kusala. Sadhu.
Sadhu.